19 keys, and this is high-level conversation. The library.
Are y'all ready for the gods to come out? Well, the first brother I want to bring up, I believe that you're very familiar with him. He goes by the name of Billy Carson. Can y'all stand on y'all feet and make some noise for the cosmic God as he comes out here? I want y'all to shake the energy up. How many people in here ever been sick? Some of y'all sick right now. I see them stomachs. It's all right, just don't cough on nobody. But if you got an ailment, you got an issue, you got something that needs to be treated, this next brother out here is a plethora of knowledge. This brother can go backwards and forward in time of recorded history, break down civilizations, ancient past and forward, and has damn near a perfect recall memory. I always tell people, when you look at Billy Carson, don't just listen to what he's saying. Look at who he became. This is a black man, but they try to make it seem like this is an outlier. No, this is the normal.
Thank you.
This is the culture. And if anybody got a problem, tell them come see me. But I'm slapping folks. So the next brother I want to bring out is a brother who's from one of the same hometowns as me, St. Louis. I come from Oakland. And he's a brother that brought himself out the streets so that he can elevate the people. Y'all make some noise for Yahki Awakened.
Y'all ready to learn something? Y'all ready to take this practical knowledge and go do something? What y'all gonna leave with today is something that you can take with you and apply it and get results. We just ain't up here talking spookism and talking about this and talking about that. We finna give y'all some real life transformation type of situations, all right? So y'all ready? All right, let's do it.
Do it.
All right, so let's start this off with health. Because what I've been noticing is a lot of us are sick. I mean, we ill, spiritually, mentally, financially sick. And I deem this as a health crisis, right? During COVID-19, they looked at the disparities in black health and they kept propagating that. But at the same time, they was telling you go get a vaccine at Krispy Kremes. Yeah. So when I look at the way that black men are thinking and operating and moving and black women, if we're sick right now, where do we start at the root? Because I've been studying a lot about being in nature. There's a concept called Yoku Shinrin. And in the 1980s, the Japanese government would take people out into the forest because there was such a big mental health issue crisis that was going on. And they would have you spend 2 days in the forest. And what it showed is it decreased cortisol levels by 50% and increased cancer killing cells in your body. So this was their way of practicing holistic methods in medicine to heal their people. If we are people that is sick at the root, where do we start?
Well, what you mentioned is called nature deficiency order. And it just shows us as a biological people here from this earth, being around trees, being around running water, seeing the color green, which is chlorophyll. All of these things come with frequencies. And what these things does is it actually relaxes and it brings on something called the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system is what brings on cortisol, and what brings on adrenaline. These are all what they call your fear, fight, or flight chemistry and hormones outside the body that roam around in the body. Well, when you in nature, what nature does is it brings on serotonin, it brings on melatonin, it brings on oxytocin, dopamine. These are your happy chemicals and your happy hormone. But to answer the question, I think the first place we should start with health is with our mindset, with the environment, and knowing who we are biologically. We have been taught that everybody in this room is made and comprised of the same things, and we're not. Now, of course, we all share amino acids, we all share minerals and things like that, but depending on who you were created by, and I'm pretty sure Billy would get into this, we got different type of markers and different genetic codes that was mixed in us differently. So since black people are more mineral dense than any other people on planet Earth, that means we require more minerals. It's a fact. You can actually, if for a dead body, if a body died and it got burnt and they came to the corpse and they didn't know what the corpse was, what they would do is they had checked the bones of that body and they had checked the teeth. Well, based off the mineral composition and the mineral density of those skeleton structures, they can tell you whether it was Caucasian, whether it was so-called African American or not. So I think the first step to health is everybody is not treated the same way when we sick. Everybody can't eat the same foods. Everybody got different blood types. Everybody got different anatomy and physiology. So I think understanding who we is as a people, that's when we can truly, truly tap into our health. Like you came out here talking about culture. We're in a European culture and mindset. So we're eating European foods. We're learning European histories. We're following a European God. And we done got out of our indigenous mindset. So once we get back into our mindset, then that's when we can really find health.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Billy Carson, can you go at it from a DNA perspective?
Yeah. Well, when we analyze the DNA, predominantly even of African Americans, just like you said, Yahki, we see there's a lot of significant differences between us and a lot of other races of people. It's just a scientific fact.
Facts.
As a matter of fact, when you look into the genetics of black people and you look at these scientific studies that come out, they're not based on black people.
Facts.
The scientific studies are based on middle-aged Caucasian Europeans. And then the doctor's going to prescribe you medication and pharmaceuticals based on a middle-aged European, but you're a black person, right? Of various different ages. So those things typically don't apply to you. Understanding that we have specific genes that can be activated, some are deactivated, and just like Yahki said, we're not like anyone else. Even going out in the sun, we need more sunlight than the average person.
Facts.
Because what happens is when the sun comes down and reflects on our skin, the way our DNA is set up and the way our melanin is set up, it actually spreads out the heat, the light, the photons as heat. So we need to get more vitamin D, and the only way to do that is to stay in the sun longer, expose yourself to more sunlight so your body can absorb more of that energy, because we actually can alchemically convert that energy. And also, of course, understanding that our environment. So when you go out and finally find a way to get healthy, you have to go get a blood sample done, a blood panel, stool sample, and a saliva sample. That's going to give you a full picture of exactly where you are health-wise. And then you take that and you sit down and you analyze that along with the nutritionist and create something specifically just for you. Because like Yahki said, every single person is different. Some things I can't eat. There are things I can't eat spinach or kale because the oxalates and the lectins are going to give me leaky gut. I've already experienced that. I'm on my health journey back. And understanding that we all have DNA, and some of it is called junk DNA. But this junk DNA, it's not junk. They're just finding out that a lot of it has purpose. A lot of it is connected, and a lot of it is actually feeding into your system. So you want to be able to do things like clean up your environment, because there's so many things around us that's destroying our DNA. And junk DNA is wordplay. What they try to do is get you to add that word junk, thinking it's useless, it's worthless, it has nothing to do with anything. But it's one of our biggest powers. And I believe that we have a lot of that power within us, but we've been tricked into thinking we can't access it. And how they trick us, not only by media, but they also trick us by the environment. We're talking about microplastics, which are everywhere. They find microplastics in our testicles now.
Yes.
Microplastics is outrageous. We have to start cleaning up our environment, understanding what we're eating, what we're drinking, where we're going to eat, what kind of oils are they using where we're going to eat. All those things are damaging our DNA, damaging our genetics, activating genes that bring on dis-ease, which leads to disease, and then you'll end up pushing up daisies. So we have to understand that and realize that in ancient times, it was a much different system. And the way that things were laid out for us initially, it was based on the genetic makeup of the human body.
Thanks.
And they were feeding people based on that in different regions of the planet. No matter where you were indigenously, your surroundings provided everything your body needed. And now, like you said, more European. So we have to keep that in mind, and we have to find out who we are and know more about our bodies than the doctors.
I'm 19 Keys, and this is high-level conversation. Library.
Now listen, a little housekeeping. We have sports moss. Sports moss is what I've been using to get big. Now, I know some of y'all been seeing me and y'all been asking me if I'm going to play the next Black Adam, right? Y'all want to know if I'm going to get into wrestling or into boxing or I'm going to start bodybuilding and all those things. Now, the answer is no, right? I'm developing these broad shoulders and arms and legs because I can, right? I wanted to develop myself into the greater version, but I couldn't do it without the sports moss. 2 of these a day, and it increases adenosine triphosphate, which help deliver that oxygen to my blood while I'm working out, right? And then it helps decrease recovery time. So in this, it says we got the elderberry in there, we got the vitamin D, the sea moss, the zinc, and the cordyceps. Now that conversation, I had you tapped in. This is the Super Saiyan, you understand me, pill right here. Yeah. Then we got the vitamin C moss. We have smart moss. So each one does something different. Y'all know we don't be getting enough sun, so you got to get that vitamin D in you anyway to regulate them hormones. You got to get that vitamin C because we don't naturally produce ascorbic acid, so you got to get it through food or some sort of supplementation in order for you to be balanced. You got to get that green tea extract in there, help build up that immune system. Now, we got shrooms, but not the shrooms that give you the psychedelic experience, right? But it is the shrooms that help you increase your psychic abilities, meaning your mind, meaning your brain, right? As we age and we develop, we get old, decrepit, can't remember things, start to lose things. So we got to tap in, especially in a world that's constantly making us mentally exhausted. Then, of course, we got the gold. Now, y'all already know the gold, man. The gold to have us tapped into our electrical wiring systems to where your brain synapses is firing just like you was a baby. You're constantly developing, regrowing, and reflowing, right? So if you want to tap into those energy systems of mineralizations that I use to tap into my body, rather than being infused with the chemicalizations to where you no longer God body, y'all come tap into the gold water pills, man.